that music pumping. Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Winners Lounge.
Let's go! Let's go!
There it is. The Nuggets grab a win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. 128-95. Is that? I always have it wrong, I feel. Yeah, 128-95. A Munder. Munder is on the menu today, boys.
Oh, man, what a treat.
It's great to have it back on the menu.
Great to have it back. And that was against a team that really couldn't be stopped through their first two games, especially Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That was against a team having their opening night, their home opener. Didn't matter as the Nuggets made them look too small, starters and bench. I'm preparing you right now. I'm coming in hot today.
Oh.
I don't always come in hot. I think usually I actually come in pretty medium. I'm coming in hot today because I feel like I saw something I need to see from these Nugs, and I can't wait. I got Brendan Vogt with me.
Little snowfall, little Munder, little road win. What a wonderful world, fellas. What a treat.
Way to land that one. Over here I got Harrison Wynn.
All the Nuggets are good.
That's true.
They're all good.
Every one of them.
They're all so good.
Honestly, I think that might be true. More true than ever. And then over there, Superstar Dev.
A wise man once told me that all of the Nuggets are good. Every single one of them.
Thank you very much.
I'm telling you guys, man, this game, it's just one game. There's going to be ups and downs. I'm still convinced of it. But tonight, the reason I'm so high is tonight I saw the vision. Tonight I saw it more clear than ever before about all of the players. Calvin, the Truth Booth, might actually... really, for whatever you want to say about the quotes or this or that or whatever.
What was that one guy's rap? Doing to the league what he did to Lincoln?
That's such a bar. That's a great line.
I forget. Yeah. I'm sorry. I forget the username.
Guys,
he's
taller. He's longer. He's a better defender. He's what we need for this team going forward.
And that's, of course, Peyton Watson in comparison to Brucey B. But no lies were told in that sentence so far. Let's do a fast breakdown here for those that didn't see. Chet versus Jokic. Get your popcorn ready. First 5 minutes of this game, what a fun matchup.
Fun.
I mean, I like Chet's game a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of skill. I think he plays the right way. He's smart. The only problem is he's about 100 pounds lighter than Jokic, and Jokic let him know it every time.
That might be a little generous, even.
And that it's kind of like canceled everything else out. But early going, back and forth, it was kind of fun. 10-point lead for the Nuggets almost immediately, in large part. Jokic's just going at Chet. He started to they were kind of even for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then Jokic just said, all right, enough of this. Michael Porter Jr. knocking down shots.
Porter quarter? Can we call it Porter quarter?
I think we could probably call it a Porter quarter. Was it 11? I think it was 11. I think that's about a Porter
11
quarter.
11 and 8 or 7 in the first quarter.
Also grabbing boards, to your point, Michael Porter Jr. Reggie, to end the first quarter, another bailout.
Who needs Monte Morris? Just kidding. We missed Monte.
But Reggie, man, he's made it a habit of ending the first quarter with a bailout shot. He hits another three tonight. Nuggets up 34-23. Michael Porter had it going so much that Michael Malone said, you know what? You go back out there with the bench unit, with Jamal.
Go ahead and cook, Mike.
Go ahead and cook. And I loved it. I loved what it did to the rotation. We'll talk about that today. Nuggets were owning the boards. I mean, this is the thing. The Thunder are a good team, but Denver kind of has a checkmate advantage in the girth department. And you saw it tonight on the boards. They just absolutely dominated. The Thunder started pressuring Jamal Murray full court. That's an important note for me. We'll talk about it later. Malone raged timeout up 10 because someone is out of position. I'm pretty sure that was Zeke Naji who got yanked.
Love the timeote. Absolutely love it.
Nuggets cooking and in a good rhythm, but one play, Malone's like, you know what? F it. I'm out. Go back in there. Nuggets Jokic closed with a hammer in the second quarter. He finished the half, guys, with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And the Nuggets were up 69-51. He saw an advantage. He was like, oh, it's me. And he pressed that advantage and absolutely dominated. Third quarter, is there going to be a letdown? Denver sometimes lets it down. A little bit. To start, if you remember, the Thunder made a run against Denver, and you thought, okay, it's going to get back interesting. But Denver responded like a championship team. Very mature response. After about 3 or 4 minutes of letting the lead slip, they pushed it out even bigger. Jokic absolutely, and it wasn't even any one guy. Jokic was pretty dominant. Michael Porter hit some shots. Murray hit some shots. But really, it was just the Nuggets as a team getting stops and converting. Peyton had another. So first quarter, Reggie Jackson bailout. Third quarter, another Peyton Watson blocks party. To end the, do you guys remember that? To end the third quarter, Peyton Watson locked up. Who was it? Vogt? No, it wasn't Micic. Who was it? Oh, I think it was Shai.
Yeah, he walked right over him.
Right at Shai and said, no, sir, get that out of here. Fourth quarter was pretty much garbage time the whole way through. But garbage time for this Nuggets team means let's see what the bench is really about. You guys, Peyton Watson and Christian Brown looked insane on defense. Insane.
They were madmen out there.
Oklahoma City couldn't score.
Two of them at the same time.
At the same time, and it wasn't just them, Zeke and everybody else kind of getting it, but those two guys, man, were unbelievable. And then the vision for the second unit is you got a lot of defenders, but how are you going to score? Just go to Murray. Murray had his fall-away going, hit 3 straight fall-away jumpers in the fourth quarter. This game was a laugher, and Peyton Watson just kept locking up everyone. And then for good measure, in garbage time, he made a couple shots too. He had a corner 3. He had a couple fall-aways. He had everything going, and that's why the Nuggets dominated. Whew!
That was a long breakdown.
It was so fun, man. I don't want to skip any of those beats. I don't want to skip any of it. Dev, start us off. What's your big takeaway?
When Denver is playing like this, there is no one in the NBA that could beat them. I want to say welcome back to Michael Porter Jr., who had an incredible game.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Christian Brown, who had an incredible game.
Welcome back.
And then welcome to the NBA, Peyton Watson.
Welcome
he had
to the
his
NBA.
best game in a Nuggets uniform. So this team looks complete right now. That was a crazy good game.
Yeah.
That is an all the Nuggets are good big takeaway, and it really is true. We were talking about this down there. Christian Brown, to me, still hasn't quite had a breakout game, even though he has been solid.
He was a plus 25 today, just for the record.
Plus 27 rebounds.
Plus 25 in 21 minutes.
Would you call this a breakout game for him?
No, it wasn't.
That's my whole point.
Wasn't.
You're right that he makes an impact even when he's not breaking out. But I still think there is a Christian Brown game in the next week.
Yes.
Would you give that an A+ though for the friend writing grades?
Probably.
I'd give it an A.
I think if you're plus 20, no matter what else happens.
25, 7 boards,
Hold
7
on.
assists.
I know we'll get into this. Christian Brown, it might have been a breakout game because he had 13.7 rebounds, 7 assists.
7 assists. You're
0
right.
turnovers
That is a breakout
in 21
game.
minutes.
And
What?
locked down.
Are we serious right now?
And he locked it down the entire
13,
time.
7 and 7 and 0 turnovers?
You know what? I take it back. It's a everybody's had a breakout game.
A steal, a block,
My
plus
God.
25 in 21 minutes?
I can't believe this, man. How
Holy
many
shit.
players? You're right. You're right. I take it back. What's your big takeaway?
It's not that. My big takeaway is that the Nuggets had every opportunity to enter this season little lazy, little lethargic, little hungover from the championship run. And man, I have been so impressed with just the overall focus and the overall just determination and how locked in the Nuggets have been to start this season. Because usually there is a championship hangover. And with a team like this who is fighting so long to get to the mountaintop, part of us, we expected that to be the case a little bit. But that has not been the case. Nuggets have been locked in, focused, ready to go. And they look hungry, man. They look hungry. They look even hungrier than they looked throughout the regular season last year so far. And I'm just really, really excited about the tone of this team right now. And I think it starts with Nikola Jokic being as locked in as he's been all training camp, preseason, and season long so far. And that's filtered down to everybody. I think Mike Malone's been coaching them hard, and he's been giving them exactly what they need from him. Yeah. And they just look hungry, man. And I'm so impressed with the focus level on both sides of the ball so far this season so far.
We've said it in the lead up to this. I mean, first of all, congrats to us for correctly reading the vibe, being around the team in the early guy. Just saying, I don't know, they look a little more serious and intense than in years past. But I credit a lot of this to, I don't think there is a single guy, we've said this in the lead up, I don't think there's a single guy that doesn't fit culturally.
Yeah.
Every year prior to this, there's been at least one guy that has just been a little bit like, well, I'm not so sure about him, not so sure about this or whatever. But right now, they're all pulling in the right direction. They're all trying to be a part of this team in the right ways in which they help. And I think that makes it fun for everyone. I think it makes it fun, especially for Nikola Jokic. But I think it also just makes a team look the way they look tonight. They are executing the game plan. And that's what it looks like when by game number 3, the entire roster executes a game plan.
Which is a nice segue into my big takeaway, which is if you had to pick a guy who maybe fit the mold of that question 2 weeks ago, probably would have been Peyton Watson, just most questions around him. And tonight, a resounding answer that, at least for now, the early returns on Malone coaching hard, how will Peyton Watson respond? 2 thumbs up so far. Game 1 wasn't awesome, but he at least had the flash, the A+ block. Game 2 looks much, much better. Game 3, you could say he looked great as a prospect, elite as a prospect.
Yep.
So, but also in the ways you were hoping he would. You know, Christian and Peyton locking up off the bench. But that's probably it, is I think it was fair to look at the preseason and say, did Peyton Watson rip this rotation spot away? No. But how has he looked since? Better and better, more and more comfortable. Big win for Peyton, big win for Calvin Booth today.
And I'm so glad that Michael Malone has played him right out of the package. Because I honestly thought when Malone was given the tough love in the pressers and, hey, he has to earn his minutes, he thought they were going to be handed to him. Like, I do think that was a turning point. But I also, when I heard that, thought, man, he's not going to play, is he? That means he's going to come up, you know. Malone gave him run right away. And every game, I thought first game was okay. I thought second game was pretty good. I thought this game is about to make me get irresponsible in some of my takes about the Denver Nuggets. That's how good he was. So I love that Malone's playing him.
Yeah, and I thought how Malone has played this with Peyton Watson so far, it's been a little bit of a test for P-WAT.
Yep.
I'm going to give you the minutes. Let's see what you're going to do with it. And, I mean, what I loved about P-WAT today is that he didn't do anything outside of his game. He played his game.
100%.
Nothing that Peyton Watson is doing right now feels fake.
Yep.
It all feels real. It all feels in his skill set. And he's playing the role exactly how he needs to.
Yeah, the game is evolving for him, though, like, because he's starting to adjust. I feel like in Summer League, he was, like, pegged as the guy, so he was, like, doing a bit too much. He came into the year just trying to be the scorer. And then since that comment, it was like, hey, you're going to have to earn it in different ways. You're going to have to go back to, like, your bread and butter, which is defensively, which has now opened up the rest of his game. So you could tell that Peyton Watson is a guy that he does take that criticism, and, like, it's a challenge for him because he has now adjusted to that. In this game, they had him playing alongside Jokic. That's where a lot of his points came from because he's slashing perfectly. Reggie Jackson hit him for like a slash where he got to show off the dunk. He gets that insane highlight, reverse dunk, and then his 3 is falling. So, like, he's doing a little bit of everything, but it starts on defense where he can give that effort and everything else comes to him.
I love the cuts. It's such a great way for him to get himself involved without doing something the team doesn't want him to do, right? And that's a way for you to go, it's my turn to score, I see an opening, but you don't have to put the ball on the floor and explore. So it was really, really good to see him bring that into his game today.
It seems like a switch flipped with him, though.
Yes.
Because this was not the Peyton Watson we saw even in the preseason.
I agree.
In the preseason, it looked like he was still trying to be the guy like he was trying to be in Summer League.
I think where his focus was different, maybe.
That's where his focus was. He was still dribbling into crowds a little, turn the ball over, not really sure of where his role was within the offense, kind of all over the place a little bit defensively. Something flipped. I really feel that way. He's been a different player in the regular season. He's totally buying into his role now at a level we weren't seeing earlier.
You have to trust that the game is going to come to you when you focus on the right things.
Yeah.
To your point, him thinking about where do I fit into this, where do I dribble, like that's you're trying too much. To me, I think the message from Malone, and certainly something we all saw, was all you have to focus on is playing as hard as you can. And trust that the things you've worked on are then going to lead you to the parts of your game that matter. And tonight, he had 17 points tonight. He had 17 points. I don't care about the points, although they actually are like incredible. But the 17 points to your point came to him. They arrived to him. What stood out was he guarded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander like he could lock him up. He guarded a lot of guys like he could lock him up. He blocked shots from the weak side. That to me is his focus. And then the other parts of his game come to him. And I think when you're 21 years old, not even talking basketball, I'm talking in life. When you're 21 years old, 1 year, 2 years feels so long. It feels like an eternity. And if someone comes to you and says you're going to redshirt 1 year, he says, okay. That's a long time, but I'll accept it. But then you go to year 2, and it's like, I'm ready to go. And it's like, no, you're not. Yeah. You're ready now to crawl. And it's going to feel tough. But Jokic in his second season came off the bench. Think about that.
Yeah, he volunteered to come off the bench.
He's a 2-time MVP, an NBA champion and finals MVP. And at this stage, he was coming off the bench. It feels like it's forever, but it's not. And I just feel like in these 3 games, and tonight in particular, Peyton Watson is building the right foundation for his game to not just become good, but become great. And by the way, if Peyton Watson is great, the trajectory of this team is different than our wildest expectations.
It's over for all intents and purposes. It's done with. The league's cooked.
The thing is, and this sounds incendiary, but the truth is, two-way wings are probably the most rare thing in the NBA. Yeah. And the defense already looks like, okay, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just had the worst game of his life. He's at least partially responsible for some of that. So we know the defensive upside. And then, again, if the game comes to him because he has a skill set that allows for 17 points on 8 of 11 shooting, that's a two-way wing, man, and an elite one. And, again, it'll take time. But that, to me, is why I'm so freaking excited. Calvin Booth has staked his reputation that Peyton Watson is what he looked like tonight, because if it's true, shut it down. The Nuggets that just won a title somehow add the most rare commodity in the NBA.
Well, it just checks off a lot of the boxes and things that you're asking for, because they have the best starting 5 in basketball. Then you have, like, okay, how do we keep up with their scoring? They have a repeatable thing that you could just do every single time in Jokic and Jamal in the pick and roll. Then you have the guys off of the bench, like, with all of that switchability. And then you have Peyton Watson, who now, like, is offensively and defensively, like, just making it just that much more difficult for him, because it was already Christian Brown that you had to get ready for. You're like, okay, that's a good two-way guy. Then you have Peyton Watson. You add another two-way guy with Zeke Naji, playing hard on deep. They just answer a lot of things. And that defense in that second unit, if you can't win those minutes, and a lot of these benches that we've been seeing, I'm, like, really shocked, like, that's their bench. I'm like, oh, if that's their bench, Denver's going to win every single game because they have the guys for this.
Right. And I also think you guys, your last 2 points have led us to a point, I think, 3 games in we can really start talking about already, and that's the Denver Nuggets defense, which was a point of question and concern simply because of their motor. We know this time last year, their foot was not on that gas. But I think it was Harrison Wind of DNVR who tweeted, look at how they've defended the stars so far, from Anthony Davis to Desmond Bane to now SGA. We talked in the pregame. Are they well equipped to guard him this year? Well, it's one game, but what was SGA today? 2 of 3 of 16?
He's never played this bad.
2 of 6. He was 2 of 16 and a minus 22.
Julian Strother outscored him, somebody said. Is that true? It's true. Julian Strother outscored Shai Gilgeous-Alexander today, guys.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not make a basket in the first half. He was 0 of 9.
That's insane.
So between, what the bench did a great job of him as well, but then I also think KCP, who had the primary assignment and who might very well, will have to check in, be 3 for 3 with Defensive Player of the Game change this season. He's been unbelievable.
Gotta spread the wealth around, Malone, a little bit.
But
Gotta spread the wealth.
It's hard to blame him because so far KCP's been a dog. But here, look, through 3 games, the Denver Nuggets are not just playing defense. It looks like it's a little easier for them to play defense, and that's a huge sign for me as they look to repeat.
According to Cleaning the Glass, which filters out garbage time, Denver had a 100 defensive rating tonight. That's pretty elite, man. Especially when you're on the road, playing in a team home opener with all that energy. A 100 defensive rating. Offensively, they had a 134.7 offensive rating that ranks in the 100th percentile. So they had an elite offensive and elite defensive performance tonight. But Peyton Watson, to me, just such a huge story. We'll talk more about him as the show goes on. On the other side, we haven't really talked about anybody else, and there was a lot of players to kind of get to because, as you guys said, all the Nuggets are good.
Guys, don't miss out on the biggest sneaker drops. Download the Soul Savvy Drops app. We at DNVR have partnered with Soul Savvy on something really special. You won't want to miss out on that. That's coming in a little bit, but for now, download the Soul Savvy Drops app. You get drop alerts, instant notifications, never miss a release again. You'll get instantly notified whenever your size is available to buy. Free raffle management on the Soul Savvy Drops app too. You keep track of all the raffles that happen in the sneaker world. Also, they got a release calendar on there as well, an accurate release calendar that keeps you updated on the releases that are coming. So whether you're a casual buyer, whether you're an all-out sneakerhead, Soul Savvy, they've got something for you with 3 different levels: basic version, which is free, mobile plus, or premium. Check out the Soul Savvy Drops app. Click the link in our description below, or visit soulsavvy.com/DNVR. soulsavvy.com/DNVR. Download the Drops app by Soul Savvy today.
If you know me, you know I like a good sandwich. You know what I love, though? A Primo sandwich. A Primo hoagie.
Oh, hoagie.
To be exact, with locations in both Denver and Centennial, you can get yourself in the store and in front of some delicious quality deli goodness, because they only make these hoagies with the highest quality Thumann's meats and cheeses, sliced fresh to order and served on Primo's award-winning seeded rolls. It's baked fresh every day, the way a deli should be. And oh yeah, you can get this to be catered too. I just hit him with a Bill Simmons. Oh yeah, you can get this to be catered to. It can be part of your football tradition. Get yourself some Primo hoagies. Again, located in both Denver and Centennial. It's not just a hoagie, friends. It's Primo.
Alrighty, back here, segment 2. Don't forget to hit the like button for us on the right now. And if you are watching this not live, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about Peyton Watson. Are we too high on him? Are we not high enough? Let us know what you guys are thinking. So Pat Riley famously talked about the disease of more. You win something, and everybody wants more money, more shots, more me, right? Jamal Murray came back a better passer. Michael Porter came back a better rebounder. Everybody came back better at contributing to the group. This is rare, man. I mean, I'm serious that Murray, once again, 8 assists. Michael Porter, once again, 9 boards. Let's start with Porter, and I'll throw to you, as I always do. 20 points, 8 of 14, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. We've been saying if Porter just starts hitting his jumpers, this is going to be 20-point games. 20 points at the half.
It sort of feels like when Porter plays this way, the biggest question is just margin of victory.
So true.
So he has 9 rebounds in this game, which I actually think is his lowest on the season. I thought it was his best rebounding.
Did he play the 4th?
He played 24 minutes, so no. Yeah. So maybe not. I actually thought it was his best rebounding effort of the season so far, though.
Because these were real boards.
Because some of them were contested. He really had to fight for them. He just had to be focused and playing hard. And he was working hard. And he was doing that even though the shot was actually falling this time. 4 of 7 from 3, hit a couple of big shots out of the gate, the first quarter of the season. And yeah, I mean, when he's playing like that, we've talked about it. This Nuggets team is hard to beat. When he's playing like that, you're just trying not to get blown out. And when the bench is playing like this, you're going to get blown out. So Porter, who clearly the ankle is hurting him, I think through 2 games he played through the pain, tried to have utility. In the 3rd game, it looked a little bit easier for him. And hopefully he builds on this going forward.
You're right, though. You bring up an interesting point. I didn't at any point tonight think about his health.
Right.
He looked healthy, and tonight was great. Dev, what did you see from Michael Porter today?
That was going to be my biggest point, was he looks closer to himself. Like, he's like stopping on fast breaks, 4 threes. He's ready to shoot every single time. He's landing on his shots and just active. Like, he looked back active, and that was a big thing for him. And it was slow. Like, the rebounds came. The defense has been there all year. Like, that's actually been great that you don't even notice at all anymore. But when the shot's falling, really, there's not much you can do at all because he gets them up so quickly and he's just so tall. But, yeah, if you're going to get this Michael Porter Jr. healthy and just ready to shoot every single time, really, the season is done, and we just get ready for another parade.
People, I've seen the take of, like, the Nuggets look so good, like, all right, just wake me up in April or whatever. And I go
Adam,
like,
do you not want to peak too early?
Yeah, for real. Now we got to you always have to worry about something.
We talked about that last year.
But honestly, this is my take now with the Nuggets is I'm like, I'm not ready to get to April. That'll come. Yeah. This is the most fun ride in the world.
Enjoy the ride.
Are you kidding?
Enjoy the ride.
This is the best ride ever, and we're just getting started.
Yeah. He just looked comfortable today. He got a couple real easy looks early on from mid-range, hit a 3 early on, and that just kind of settled him in. I agree. I didn't think about his ankle at all today. He looked fine. He looked like he was moving better today than he did in his first 2 games. But the defense also.
Yep.
The defense. Like Michael Porter Jr. at 6'11", we're trending in a direction where he's becoming a really important part of the Nuggets defense.
Yeah.
With his length, his size, just how much natural defensive ability those two things give you. He's in the right position. He's not getting exposed. It's not like the Thunder were trying to switch MPJ out onto Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at any point today.
And 3 years ago, that's the whole game plan.
Exactly. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we're thinking about that every single possession. He's a good defender now. He's important to the Nuggets scheme. His height and length is really valuable. And he's just matured into a really nice all-around player, and it's just been so cool to watch.
And if he's gonna play big defensively and on the glass, today it really popped. It's the cherry on top of this team we almost forget to talk about. They're just huge, man. And today they looked so much bigger and stronger than the Thunder. The first quarter, I think the rebounding advantage was like 20 plus to 9.
It was crazy, yeah.
It was crazy, and it evened up a bit in garbage time. First time the Nuggets have won the rebounding battle this season. But to me, it was simply like, oh, they're too strong. You know, these guys just literally can't hang with them. And you just start to all the different boxes this starting lineup checks right now. And actually, truthfully, the bench is an extension of this aspect. They know how to play together. They're bigger than everyone, and they're defending at a high level. It's really they're 3-0. It's the first 3-0 start from a defending champ since 2016. It's hard not to get excited.
Man, since 2016. Very, very good date. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah. As we comp them to the Warriors quite often.
What you were saying real quick, though, just about Michael Porter Jr. came back a better rebounder. Jamal Murray came back a better passer, a better floor general. He's not like actively searching out for more shots. The disease of more has not come for this team. The Nuggets are just different, man. The culture that the Nuggets have is just different. Playing basketball in Denver, it's basketball nirvana. Aaron Gordon found it a couple years ago. More and more guys are finding it. The Nuggets are not like most other NBA teams. This team plays together. They don't care about stats. They don't care about numbers. They're happy for whoever's success.
For real.
It's special, man. And you see it in a case like this where the Nuggets enter the season and it's just like they picked up where they left off. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is, man. And one of the things that I think we probably, it's too early to say, but one of the crazy takes that I think we got right was when we were talking before the season about there's a chance that this is the most fun year for Jokic.
Yeah.
Because playing the right way is how he has the most fun. That's what he likes about basketball. And so far, that's what it is. And I just feel like the whole team is vibing. The whole team is on a wavelength right now. They're all on the same one. And they all seem to be buzzing with all of that. And Michael Porter, a really huge part of this. The height part, he always checks out in the advanced metrics. You know, defensively, Denver's always doing better. And I think there is probably something to that. But here's another thing that happened tonight that I love. Him going to the bench to start the second quarter because he was on fire. And I think Michael Malone threw him a bone and said, just see how long you're on fire for. It created a stagger that, to me, is uncharacteristic of Malone. He always goes to just one starter staggering. Why? I love Christian Brown with the starters. I just think he fits, or with Jokic. I think he fits. If you give me Jokic, Gordon, and Christian Brown, I just feel like that lineup's going to be a plus 15.
Yeah.
I don't even care what the other two guys are. And tonight they got to that. And I'm not saying it's the reason the game blew open as well as it did, but it might be it's worth exploring a little bit more. What do you think, Dev?
I think that it's a wrinkle that you could throw out there, and the Thunder had no answers for it because they just haven't seen it before. Also, I mean, you do keep alluding to the fact that Michael Porter Jr. was on fire, so that added that, but it let Peyton Watson get to, play with the starters. Christian Brown is playing with the starters, and that's why his metrics are a lot higher. But it's different combinations and also fits because everyone is playing the right way. Everyone does the right thing. And that's the bench guys. You just talked about Jokic being like the happiest that he's been. When in training camp, he made a comment about hey, these guys are a little bit different because they know how to play the right way. And that's not a knock on guys in the past, but he hasn't had that every single year where there has been a guy that has been just a little bit different in just the way that they're learning, or it's just coming a little bit slower to him. And he hasn't had that right now. So he really is just like a bit shocked about it. But then you start talking about culture. You start talking about playing the right way. You start talking about playing the Jokic way. They're all playing the Jokic way, and having guys like Christian Brown that you could just throw into a lineup in different combinations, it just works. And that's why you could just throw a guy in there. If they have a guy sit, it's going to be okay. Next guy up, because they plan the right way.
If we speed run through Aaron Gordon, Murray, and KCP, we've talked a little bit about Murray, but again, 8 assists tonight, so continues to really pass the ball well. KCP's defense was unbelievable. He didn't really need to do anything else tonight, only 7 points. But here's what I love. Aaron Gordon tonight, let me not give you his numbers. Let me give you his advanced numbers. 152 offensive rating when he was on the court, 100 defensive rating. The highest of the highs, and then among the starters, the second lowest of the low for the defense number. Perfect game from him. And then let's look at the regular stat sheet. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks.
3 blocks.
The steals, blocks, obviously impressive, but AG really has molded into Jokic. Because now he goes out there, 9 points, only took 7 shots, dominated.
Yeah.
He's a bully. He really is a bully, and that's the advantage that you get when you have an Aaron Gordon. He allows other people to switch. He creates a lot of mismatches, and they have to foul him. But also, he's not looking to just take over every single time. He saw that other guys had it going today, and he was like, okay, I'm just going to just get it going on the defensive end. I'm going to go and try to lock up SGA in this. I'm going to, do it in different ways. And he's a star, like that's a guy that he has a lot coming for him. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to take the night off in this ways and let everyone else do it, but still do my job. And that's the perfect compliment that you have. And he's a huge part of the culture shift that the Nuggets have gone through.
What's so fun about watching Aaron Gordon 3+ years into his time in Denver, and what's so fun about watching the Nuggets offense compared to a lot of other NBA teams, the Nuggets never take bad shots.
Sure.
And you watch the Thunder, you're just flipping through the games one night. So many teams take so many bad shots every time down.
It's really true.
The Nuggets and now Aaron Gordon so rarely take bad shots, where when it happens, you're like, what was that? It's so weird when the Nuggets take bad shots. And like Aaron Gordon, 4-7, attempted. He doesn't really take bad shots anymore. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone gets like one a game.
Yeah.
Gordon can take one crazy post fadeaway from way too far.
Yeah.
Mike can take one heat check when he hasn't caught the ball yet. Like everyone gets one a game. But I'm with you, Win. That's the biggest shock.
You watch some of these teams and you're like, what are you doing?
I'm
a
not
lot of
even doing
teams.
the bet. Not even doing the bit because I think they might be. I think they might be the second best team. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing. But the Celtics,
Yeah.
to me, that is the difference. You're
Yeah.
like, bro, how are you allowed to put that
it's
shot
like,
up?
who lets this go on?
Right.
Of course, we're spoiled, and Jokic is a total anomaly, and the Nuggets are just playing this beautiful brand of basketball. But you watch so many players, and you're like, bro, what are you
It's a horrible
doing?
shot.
Let's take another break. On the other side, I think the most important topic. Back to the bench, because we haven't spent a lot of time there, but specifically, I think the Nuggets have a defender for everyone in the NBA for the first time ever. And we're going to talk about that.
Guys, if you need tickets to concerts, shows, sporting events, make sure to check out the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR, get $20 off your first purchase. Hey, Nuggets are here Monday. They're on a back-to-back, first back-to-back of the season. They got the Jazz at home tomorrow night, Monday night at Ball Arena. If you're looking for tickets, download the Game Time app. They've got these great last-minute price drops on there. Create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Concert shows, sporting events, whatever you need, Game Time, they've got you covered. They have deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Even an hour after it starts, sometimes it's the place to find last-minute seats. They got exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy shows,
Game tomorrow
theater,
night.
much more.
I'll bet you can get cheap tickets to Nuggets Jazz tomorrow.
Probably.
Little snow on the ground.
Probably. Check out the Game Time app.
Man, you know what's awesome? Winning
The
money
Nuggets.
on the Nuggets winning basketball. And you can do that with Bet365, which is never ordinary. it's rarely ordinary basketball from the Denver Nuggets. It's never ordinary with Bet365. Turn any play into the play, any game into the game. And right now, you can either get a first bet safety net of $1,000 in bonus bets or bet $5 and receive $150 in bonus bets when you sign up with Bet365 using promo code DNVR365. And while you're on that app, you might notice something you recognize, and that's Nux in the corner there. If you see Nux, you're seeing a DNVR custom bet.
Ooh.
Keep an eye out each week for new bets and ride with DNVR at Bet365. Remember to use code DNVR365 at sign up.
And we are back here, segment 3. And this, to me, is maybe the most important thing. If you want to know where the Nuggets are headed and Calvin Booth's philosophy, this next part is the part that I think is the most exciting. Last year, Denver had KCP, who I think is an elite defender against very specific types of players, very specific types of scorers. In particular, ball handlers or guys that run off a lot of screens who are 6'4" or under. I think he's really good at that. He navigates screens well. He draws fouls on screens. He uses his length. He's very disciplined. But when you get guys that are his size or bigger, he struggles. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sometimes, although not tonight. Devin Booker wasn't really bothered by KCP because he just would get to his spots and shoot over him. Aaron Gordon is great at certain types. Kevin Durant shut him down last year. Zion Williamson, he's been very good against. Luka Doncic, he's got his guys, but he didn't make an impact on Devin Booker really last year, and there are players he can't guard. Christian Brown and Peyton Watson, to me, complete it. Those guys also are elite on defense against specific types, and different types, by the way. Christian Brown has strength and length. Peyton Watson has ridiculous length.
Yep.
And it's just like very agile. To me, Denver now has 4 defenders that collectively check off every type of player in the NBA. Give me a good player, there's somebody on the roster that is designed to defend that type of person.
Yeah. We'll just look at what they've done this season so far. Anthony Davis shot 6 of 17. Desmond Bane, 4 of 17. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander today, 2 of 16. 3 very different guys who they've been able to shut down and really throw off their games. And yeah, this is the defense that the Nuggets have been building towards. You know, step by step over the last couple years, they've slowly been adding better defenders to the mix. It was Aaron Gordon, then they got KCP, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson have come aboard the last 2 years. This is a championship defense, as we saw in the playoffs last year. This is a defense that Michael Malone just must sit back while he's watching the film and marvel at. They can do everything. And when you have this type of offense next to as many defensive weapons as they have right now, man, it's terrifying.
In the title, we give credit to Calvin Booth. This is all of what he's been looking at.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing was about the future, like, not right now.
Right.
The idea used to be, like, who can hang with Denver offensively? Who's going to outscore them? It is now shifted to, like, Denver is, like, allowing, you know, they're mundering teams. They have switchability. They have guys that, you know, can guard these type of guys, and they just haven't had that in a long time. Or it would be one guy that had to exert themselves for the entire year. Aaron Gordon in 3 months, 4 months is not going to be as worn down as he was before.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of building something special, and that's why Denver is just so much better, and that's why you look at their future and you're like, okay, they're set, because they go into the draft and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for length and defense. The offense is going to take care of themselves. And they already have guys on their team that can do that, and you just keep on adding those pieces. So you talked about, you know, each year adding one more piece, but they all have the same thing in common. They can play defense.
And there's also just been a collective defensive mindset that the Nuggets have played with to open this season. And another guy you probably have to give credit to is Jamal Murray, who did spend time on SGA today, who has had to guard some of these good guards that Denver has gone against so far. And he's dug his heels in. He's been very good defensively so far.
Yeah. Dirk Nowitzki's 2011 team, I always thought Denver was going to have to do that to build a contender. I don't think last year's was like that. So if you don't know, Dirk's team in 2011 didn't really have a second star. They had Jason Terry, who could score some points. They had Jason Kidd, who could help out running up. They had really good players. But really what they had was smart defensive players, and a lot of them, and then trusted that Dirk could carry them on offense. Denver won last year with a good defensive team that could step up in the playoffs, but they were not an elite defensive team at any point, even if they were effective in the playoffs. What they were was an unstoppable offense.
Yeah.
This is pointing towards both. Denver has not lost their offense, but yet they are starting to build an elite defensive team. I mean, that fourth quarter with Peyton Watson and Christian Brown on the court, it was like overwhelming. The game was already pretty much out of place, but they couldn't. It wasn't like that Oklahoma City couldn't score. There was a 4 or 5 minute stretch where they couldn't even get into their offense.
It was like UCLA against CU.
Pass rush, sacking the quarterback every time.
They didn't have a chance.
They didn't have, you're like, I don't even know if they're good or bad. They just can't block, and so this or that. Good bird. But that to me is what is so. And Peyton and CB are almost the poster children of that because they're both. Like Aaron Gordon and KCP are smooth and veteran on defense. Those guys are predatory on defense right now. We got pterodactyl. He gets crouched into this.
He's a pterodactyl, bro.
But it's also I've used this on Jamal. It's panther-like.
He does have a big cat.
Yeah, he has this thing where he's like getting ready to pounce, and he just does it, and you're like, man.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. At one point in this game, I just tweeted #Golden Era because that's what this game really felt like. And
totally.
The only thing the bench is maybe missing in the youth department, because so far they've had it in Reggie, is a go-to kind of dynamic option. They are building that great defensive kind of look. That's the part where you go, man, I just wish Bones could have kept it together, because then you start getting really. But they have an identity with both units right now, and that's really, really special. I also think in this game we've talked about the bench so much, but it looked easier for the starters than it has. I mean, they've been this dominant for a long time.
It's almost an afterthought.
Yeah, but it looked easy. It looked easy to me today, and this is maybe the most fun I've had watching the Nuggets like in a regular season environment. Today was unbelievable.
If we go back to Reggie though, tonight we always said we know he makes shots, but it's the passing that really stands out. Well, tonight Reggie Jackson took 3 shots. You guys, he played 22 minutes. He took 3 shots. He went 2 of 3. He had 5 points. He was a plus 13. Why? 6 assists. He had 6 assists. He had more assists tonight than Nikola Jokic did. And he did it very under control, just 2 turnovers. And to me, I mean, Reggie Jackson to me is one of the great stories of the Nuggets. Not just of this year. Obviously, he's a great story right now, but it's one of those ones where you talk about, a guy coming here. Why did he want to be a part of this? Why was he so excited to re-up after last year he didn't barely play? Why? Because he knew he could absorb himself into the culture and the team could absorb him, and we're starting to see. I mean, it's only 3 games, but I feel so good about Reggie right now.
One of the questions that you asked is like, what is something that we still have to see? And my response was, I want to see what that bench unit, who steps up offensively or who gets it scoring when Reggie doesn't have it going on. Right. It wasn't even that he didn't have it going on.
That's it.
He decided to just run the offense, and that's big for him because he has been scoring. And he had it going on. He knocked down his 3. Like he had it going on today. But he was like, "Hey, other people are getting involved. Let me find them. Let me find these cutters. Let me just run the offense." That's a perfect game for him. Like to be in a flow and still decide to just have Christian Brown go off, have Peyton Watson go off, still be active on defense, and still that be the identity with the second team. So this was a very impressive game for me from Reggie. Because he could have went to just jacking every time.
Yeah. One thing about the bench unit, though, that to keep an eye on, I thought it was very smart what the Thunder did in the second quarter tonight. It was Jamal Murray. Reggie was not on the court. It was the young guys. It was Christian. It was Peyton. I don't remember who else. Zeke, probably. I don't remember who else. Maybe it was Mike. And they started pressuring Murray full court. And why would you do that? Murray can handle pressure, but if you're going to pressure him, he's going to have to get the ball out of his hands. And you're passing to Christian, you're passing to Peyton, you're passing to guys who are not used to initiating offense. It's something to keep an eye on because I do think that as the season goes on, teams are going to start looking at that second unit and going, okay, where are their vulnerabilities? And that is one. One, it wears down Jamal Murray. Yep. That's hard to go up against. And 2, does Denver feel comfortable right now having Peyton Watson bring the ball up and getting him into an offense? Probably not. Same with Christian. So I do think it was smart, but Denver handled it very well tonight. All right, let's take one last break here. On the other side, we're going to get into a top 5 reasons to be excited about the Nuggets. Isn't that what we said?
I think so, yeah.
Top 5 reasons you should be excited right now.
Gestures broadly.
But I mean, now you have to make it into a list of top 5. It's actually kind of hard.
It's tough.
And then we also have some super chats, I'm told, Kill. Alrighty.
Guys, Denver's best roofers have joined the DNVR team.
What?
Red Hawk Roofing.
Let's go, dude.
They work with quality materials. They have decades of experience. 24/7 availability. Give them a call, 4 a.m. They'll pick up. Quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors. Huge DNVR supporters as well. So if you have any roofing needs, give Red Hawk Roofing a call. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, they do businesses too, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing. RedHawkRoofing.com. RedHawkRoofing.com. Tell them DNVR sent you. Again, quality materials, decades of experience, 24/7 availability. That's big in case you have an emergency or something. Quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors. RedHawkRoofing.com. Tell them DNVR sent you.
If you work for a roofing company and you fall off, you should call Backus and Shaker immediately. Call them at 222-2222 or visit them at coloradolaw.net. Why should you call them? Well, it's easy. You might be entitled to some compensation, and it won't cost you any money to find out. There's no consultation fee for seeking compensation through Backus and Shaker. In fact, they won't charge you just to take on your case. They won't charge you until they win your case. And they have won cases. They've won over $1 billion for their clients over the years. So you've been hurt in a car accident, motorcycle incident, as a pedestrian, or at work when it wasn't your fault. You know what to do. Look for the number 2.
There you go. All right, back here, final segment. We're gonna start talking about things we're most excited about. Let me start off with a hot take. Tell me if you guys agree. I'm gonna ask you this time.
Okay.
The last game wasn't necessarily great, but that Lakers win was very impressive, and this one was very impressive. I think this might be up there with the best 3-game stretches of the regular season for the Nuggets. It's probably not one. They've had some really crazy runs. But 2 blowout wins out of 3, and then 1 road win against, a Western Conference foe. This might be up there.
And an extension from the title, of course, that they took the Lakers game the way they did, I think meant so much to the fans. It was personal, man. I don't care.
Yeah.
They can give whatever answer they want to whatever question. They wanted to beat the Lakers. They beat the Lakers. That felt great. It's a ring night. You go win ugly on the road. And then this, to me, was as dominant as they've looked in all the facets of a game. There are maybe other regular season games, but this is in the inner circle. So I think it's up there, and I think everyone right now, their biggest challenge is not getting too smug, and it's...
It's actually our biggest challenge.
Yeah, it's they
both
look
of our
great.
challenges.
This is, I think, right now, obviously the title is its own thing, but as an extension of that, this to me is, I think, as excited as Nuggets fans have ever been for the next game.
As I was saying that, Dev, it's funny because I do think their best 3-game stretch probably happened 3 or 4 times in the playoffs prior to that, which is hilarious. But
during the regular season, I think so, because it's like they're on a war path. They really are. And then also it's like the emotional factor. They came off of a ring night. Then they had a game that they didn't perform to their best, but the team played them extremely hard. But then they responded back to that. I know that they didn't see that Memphis game and think like, oh, that was a good game for us, but I'm sure that they got talked to about it, and then they responded against a pretty good Thunder team, and they responded the right way. So it's just up from here, and they just continue to just whip ass.
Yeah. All right, Wind, I tasked you with coming up with a Bet365 never ordinary top 5 most exciting things. This is a tough list to make, dude.
So many options, tough to get it down to 5. But at number 5, I've got the bench might be a weapon.
Yep.
And this is something to really get excited about.
This is 5. This might be 1 to me.
I don't know. I'm excited to see 4.
I know. I hold it to a high
you should have made your own list then.
I'm saying that's 5. I love it.
It's crazy, though, because we were talking about this on the pregame show. We really thought there was a chance the bench would be a disaster.
Yep.
A disaster. Worse than it was last year when it was a disaster. And the fact that it might be a weapon, the fact that they can go even in their minutes and maybe even win some of their minutes, man, that's huge.
The thing that's funny about it is at this moment, the maybe to me feels almost soft. Like, I know it's early, a lot of things have to happen, but right now I look at it and I go, conceptually it makes sense as that they can do this. They can guard. I think they can guard. So you're starting from that baseline. And then offensively, I just think there's enough juice there.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say it's definitely a weapon.
Yeah,
it's not a lock.
They were still a minus in the Memphis game. I don't know what they. They obviously finished a big plus tonight. I can't remember what they were in the Lakers
I think they
game.
were there was a smattering of minuses in the Lakers game as well.
But
plus 12, plus 11, plus 13, plus 25.
It was a blowout today. But I think we're at maybe, and we're shifting towards can be.
Well, there's two questions with the bench. Can they be a good regular season bench? And then is there an 8 guys to go to?
Yeah.
So that second part in particular is going to be a work in progress. But you got 79 more games.
Yeah. My number 4 reason to get excited, the defense is locked in. This looks like a playoff-ready defense 3 games into the regular season.
Yeah.
This looks like a championship-level defense. It looks like a better defense than they had last season, and we saw that last season's defense was good enough to go 16-4 on the way to a championship. I was talking about earlier, my big takeaway was that I'm just so impressed with the focus level of this team coming off the championship, and you're seeing that defensively. Today on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, absolute lockdown stuff. Desmond Bane the other night. It's been really, really impressive how focused they've been defensive.
By the way, KCP got his 3rd defensive player game of the chain.
All right, Michael Malone, you got to spread the wealth out.
He's been too good.
If you're earning it, you should get it, man. You should get it.
I mean, honestly, tonight might be the most impressive. Shai having his worst game, maybe as a pro.
Yeah.
This might be Shai's worst game as a pro.
I wonder if there's an assistant coach's job to be like, Coach, you gave it to him like all week.
Michael Malone said
All
this
week.
last year. He goes like, we could give it to KCP every game, but
He wants to.
Yeah, now he's just giving it to him every game.
I love it. Do you want the numbers?
Sure.
Denver, through 3 games, has a 103.4 defensive rating. That's insane.
That's insane.
That's elite. It's so early in the year. It's top. It's number 7. But 103.4 by the end of the year would probably be number 1. You know, some teams right now have only played 2 games, but whatever. So that's how good it's been. And then offensive rating, just a cool 121.2. So they have a 17.8 net rating as a team at the moment. 3 games,
beautiful.
small sample size,
Beautiful
but
stuff.
Whew, butt whoopings.
My number 3
There's 3 more?
reason for excitement, Peyton Watson looks legit. He looks
a good one.
legit.
That dunk today, that was incredible.
That was a great dunk.
Just didn't even look at the rim, dunked, just kept going. And the bench didn't go crazy. They're used to those type of plays.
Right.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson looks legit, and if he is legit, again, the league is cooked. Wrap it up. It's over. This thing's done.
Averaging 2.4 stocks right now.
That's crazy.
In 17 minutes.
That's crazy.
I do think we should, prepare ourselves for the other shooter drop with the bench.
course.
There will be nights where Reggie's shots aren't falling. Peyton doesn't score 17. I don't think it's going to be this joyride all season, but I'm with you guys about through 3 games. Are you more encouraged or discouraged about that stuff? It's easily encouraged.
100-fold.
Yeah. My number 2 reason, Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the NBA. This is a guy we actually did not even talk about for a second on the Winners Lounge.
Check.
He dropped a cool 28 points on 12 of 16 shooting, 14 rebounds and 5 assists, 4 turnovers, took better care of the ball today, and I tweeted this out during the game. When Chet Holmgren is asked on some random NBA podcast what his welcome to the NBA moment was, I think he might talk about this game. Chet, nice offensive game I thought from him tonight. I really like him as an offensive player. He just is so skinny. He doesn't stand a chance against Nikola Jokic down low.
The first time Jokic threw his body into him in the post, you could see Chet's ghost leave his body for a second and then snap back in.
He was in awe of Nikola Jokic.
I feel like Jokic felt disrespected that they put him on him. He really just no lie. He attacked him
Who
every
else should they have
single
put
time.
on him? Pokashevsky?
he can't believe that they put him on him.
He
That's
thought that
all
was
that I'm
disrespectful,
saying. Like,
too.
he really just he was like, I'm gonna score every single time until y'all change this or y'all make some type of shift. Like, we didn't talk about him today because it was, what are you don't just keep talking about murders like that. Like, that was incredible what he did. And it was just like, I'm just gonna do it because why would y'all even try me like that?
Dev, 28, 14, and 5 on 12 of 16 shooting
He missed 4 shots.
in 30 minutes.
There was one
30
possession
minutes?
where he kind of looked around. He wanted to pass the ball. No one was moving. And he turned around and it was Poku. And he was like, he basically went.
It's like my buddy Poku. I have to do this to him.
Just bullied him.
And my number one reason to be excited about the Nuggets, all the Nuggets
All
are
the
good.
Nuggets
All
are
of them.
good.
That's a good
Every
list.
Nugget
Kel,
is
yeah,
good.
Pull up the merch. Pull up the merch,
All
man.
the Nuggets are
All
good.
the Nuggets are
While he
so
pulls
good.
that up, I just want to say that graphic was so much better than a round association. And we've been doing that for how long? You know what I mean? Like,
hey, man.
How did that happen?
It's probably because somebody's paying us to do that.
That was a good graphic right
Yeah,
there. A
it was.
really good graphic.
Yeah, until someone
It's a nice-looking
sponsors
graphic.
ATA. Around the A.
We need a sponsor for around the association.
We need every time we do it, it needs to be like
Yeah.
on Inside the NBA. Sponsored by
Right.
Nobody.
I'm sure
Jeez.
one of you guys out there wants to sponsor it. Sponsor around the association. It's for sale.
And
We're
you'll get
gonna
a graphic.
Gordon is going to just sponsor around the association.
I don't think we'd be
Via,
opposed to that.
via super chat.
The Gordon Glazner around association.
Around the
Oh, look at-
association.
look at that
presented
beautiful
by
work of art.
Gordon
You guys,
Glazner.
look at that. One of my favorite shirts we've ever made. All the Nuggets are good. What a vibey shirt, man. Absolutely
That's the
vibey
shirt of the
one.
season.
The shirt of the might be the shirt of the season. Many people are saying. Kale, I'm told some people wanted to super chat.
Well, let's read those super chats then, huh? They paid for it. What do we got? Connor Pasica. Gorgeous winter wonderland here in Colorado Springs, and the Nuggets took the Thunder for a sleigh ride.
Oh, I love it. A little sleigh ride.
Yeah, a little play
Is it-
on words.
Is it that season? I don't think it is until
It's
after.
snowing. Doesn't matter. It's
All
snowing.
right, it's
Yeah,
snowing.
Count it. Put it on the board. All right, what else do we got? Alexis, thank you, DNVR, for the great coverage. So excited for this title defense season. Let's go, Nuggets.
Is that 100 euros?
Oh, wow.
Excuse
Let's
me,
go,
Alexis. Thank you.
Alexis.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alexis.
Thank you.
Shaban Kellen takes staying hot. Nuggets finished with a top 5 bench this season.
Oh, I like it.
I
Top
love it.
Man, can you imagine? They're winning 65
Hey,
games.
the league is done. We're done here.
One thing that's fun to do is go through the league and realize no one has a good bench.
This is the
Maybe
thing.
except the Nuggets.
This is the thing is you're always concerned about something like I don't know about how well Peyton Watson handles the ball and he's going up against like some other guy that you're like
Pokashevsky.
yeah Pokashevsky and you're like, well, it doesn't matter.
that's
So
in the
we're-
rotation? Okay.
Another
yeah.
takeaway from today: the Thunder bench kind of sucks.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
they're missing some guys though. They're missing
yeah,
some
but I've
guys.
been looking at these and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, they're
I'm just saying, to the point of the tiers, you guys wanted to drop the Lakers. I'm like, we got to drop the Thunder too, or is it just that they played the Nuggets?
yeah, dude.
This is what I'm getting at.
It's not, the
All right.
Memphis might be tier A
Memphis,
based on
yeah,
this.
S tier. Jay, new name, Michael Border Jr. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Porter
yeah.
Jr.
We will also accept Michael Rebounder Jr. Both work. What else
Yeah.
do we got? Lumi. Watson's on the fly, no-look reverse dunk is one of the most beautifully executed reverse dunks I've ever seen.
Great take.
Strother
Yeah.
looked as hype as ever, and Brown is him.
Man, we didn't even
Great
talk about
super chat.
I poor Christian Brown, man. I blame you.
I tried to get into it at the top of the show. I did for a second.
13-7,
like the best game of
25.
his career.
We called it an A+ game and a breakout game.
Oh,
Best game
God.
of his career.
He's watching the show like, when are they getting to my part? Like, did you see what I did?
25 and 21 minutes.
He'll never have 7 assists again
I
in
had
his
a better
life.
game than Young tonight. Let's
7
go.
assists,
Yeah.
0 turnovers.
Wins out of his mind. All right, what else do we got? Adelia Chamberlain. Longtime listener, first time chatter.
Oh, let's go.
Just wanted to say you all rock and all the Nuggets are good.
You
Oh,
rock
yeah.
as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Christian Miller from Christian Miller. Super chat. Sweet.
Hell yeah. Let's
Christoph.
go. 12 euros.
Super chat
The
from
Euros,
Christoph.
the Euros are awake, man, today.
Yeah, dude, it's the afternoon. Jeremy J. Rock, Michael,
That's not
All-Arounder Jr.
All-Arounder.
I love you guys. THTR 201. Can someone explain Jokic's inbound pass where he gets it to someone near half court? I get long outlet passes, but what advantage does this pass give them? Is it to not give the defense time to set up?
Well, yes. I think what he's talking about is he'll advance the ball, like a hit-ahead pass. And what this does is maybe I'll put this on the list, because what it does is force the guys who are sprinting back to contain the ball. You have to stop the ball. It's the first job of transition. Well, if you're dribbling the ball up, well, then the defense can get back and then pick up the ball. Whereas if you just hit it ahead, even if it's just the half court or the timeline, somebody has to stop the ball, because if they don't, then that player attacks. So even if it doesn't open something up, it forces somebody back to rotate on the ball. And most of the time when Jokic is doing this, he's throwing it to someone because the guy back is supposed to be guarding him. But if he throws it up to, say, KCP or Michael Porter, the guy back who's supposed to be him has to stop the ball, which means someone else has to take Jokic. He's creating a mismatch before the possession even begins, and then you're starting from a point of advantage. So I'll try to find a couple examples of this on the list, but it's why hit-ahead passes are so good. But guess what? You have to be unselfish to do this.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I loved Lonzo Ball, because Lonzo Ball was one of the best at this specific thing. He could see the court and know, if I pass it here, we create a switch.
Yeah.
And that alone. And it doesn't stand out like a whole lot, but it does take a player that understands more than just I have the ball, I should dribble up and try a move. Like, no, set the table before you even cross half court.
Yeah.
Any more, Kel? 5. Ish. I love it when a Munder is back on the menu. One Munder wins down. Only 47 more Munder wins till 50 Munder wins in the Mundered NBA.
I think 50. I think you set the bar too low this year.
50
Munders?
Well, no, not for
That was
that's
good.
Munders.
What?
No, they're not kidding. I thought that was
The
just 50
greatest
games.
defense of all time.
What?
They haven't had 3 Munders, so he's counting 3 down. I think it's just wins. But 50 wins, like if the Nuggets got 50 wins, they'd be a little bummed. The Nuggets, if I told you the Nuggets finished with 50 wins, you'd be like, really?
I think I picked them to get like 55 this year.
Yeah. 555, 55. I'm just saying.
Touchdown Broncos. More MPJ love. He's only played 190 regular season games, less than 3 seasons worth. On top of improving his handle and defense, he's added nice entry passes. 190 games. Is his progress right on time? It's a great
Michael
chat.
Improver Jr.
It's a great,
Michael Improver Jr. for sure.
I love this so much. David East, $10, so Adam will be happy.
Bullied him into. I feel bad for that, actually, David.
Yeah, David.
I actually feel really bad.
I feel like we owe you
I
$9
was
for
teasing
that.
you. I wasn't. Everybody super chat what
Is
you're
it that
comfortable with.
easy?
Yeah. Just start.
Traveling Chaplain. Saw the game in person with my daughter. Awesome day. Go
Man.
Nuggets.
Hell yeah.
That is
Girl
so
dad,
cool,
girl
man.
Hell yeah.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Sorry.
Doc, no. Also, please tell me Vogt is growing out his stash for a Ned Flanders costume on Tuesday. Nope, not a costume. Just how my face looks right now.
But that would be a
That would be a
that would
banger.
be fun. That would be a
That
banger.
That would be a banger.
I could do that.
Oh,
I could do
and
that.
we're celebrating tomorrow, right? We don't.
Yeah, we got to do costumes. I got so
Costumes?
much going on. I don't know if I'll have one. I'll try to find
I'll
one.
be at the game.
Anything else? Surgeon Popovich. 4 beers for the lads and 1 for D-Line tomorrow morning. Is it time for Rakia yet? Hottest question tonight is if CB has more chance winning the 6th man than P-WAT winning a defensive player of the year.
Wow.
Lowering the bar.
All time, like going forward. I don't know. Probably Christian.
Yeah.
Hiker, the main Nuggets bench lineup with Murray, Zeke, P-WAT, Reggie, CB has a net rating of 37.4 through
Are you
3
serious?
games. Scary hours.
Which one? The main Nuggets bench lineup? Wow. It's going to be awesome when the bench has a better net than the starters this year.
That's not
Yeah,
happening.
before we go, I do want to give a quick shout out to Zeke Naji. 3 rebounds.
Yes,
Let's
go.
go.
3
Let's go,
rebounds.
Zeke.
Zeke Naji.
We see you, Zeke.
Massive game.
I put this on the list today. Zeke Naji, I'm not going to go through it to get on the show, but Zeke Naji has a league average, or the Nuggets have a league average rebound rate when he's on the court, both offensive rebound rate and defensive rebound rate, and that's over 3 years and 3 games. I know that feels like a little bit of doing the math, and I'm not trying to say he's a great rebounder, but the same way where some guys are not great shooters, But the offense is great when they're on the court. And sometimes guys will rag on it. Yeah, but he can't shoot, man. I just don't like it. And it's like, what does it matter if the team is scoring when he's out there? I think it's similar for Zeke in that in this last game, one of the things I did on the list was he drew 5 fouls on rebounds. Those count for 0 rebounds, but every time you got the ball back, and 2 of the times you get free throws out of it. Another time he tips the ball, it's not a rebound, goes to Christian Brown, throws it back to him, and it's a wide open layup. So I say that to say that with Zeke, the guy I used to compare him to was Steven Adams. Steven Adams never averaged more than 9.5 rebounds per game in Oklahoma City. Isn't that crazy? One of the best rebounders in the entire NBA, played 34 minutes a night, never averaged more than 10 rebounds. But the reason was he's the best in the NBA at blocking out. Westbrook was trying to pad his stats, and they had good rebounding wings. So he would always find the biggest threat to grabbing the rebound, box them out, and someone else would grab it. I think there's a little bit of that with Zeke, and I give some video evidence about why Zeke rolling so hard to the rim on offense has actually opened things up for Denver, even if he's not personally grabbing the board. So Zeke needs to get a little better at grabbing rebounds, no question about it. But I don't think the issue is as big as people think it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, just you go off the eye test these last 3 games. He has 3 total rebounds. They all came today. But you don't feel like the bench is getting abused on the glass.
He looks the part.
You feel like they're doing fine. They're generating defensive rebounds.
And it's never his guy. He boxes out. He's the only one that's pretty much boxing out. He closes out when other guys aren't. He his is not from not trying because he's out there playing extremely hard. It's just kind of wild that he's the backup center not getting those rebounds. But if you watch what he's actually doing, it's because he does all of everything else.
And that's also a European philosophy, right?
What?
You box out, then you let the guard go in and get the rebound.
I don't know that. I don't know. Maybe.
I think it is.
Matthew Crane, let's go Nuggets, sending love from Chicago. All the Nuggets are good.
There you go. You can hit the outro music there, Kale. Guys, we're riding so high, man. What a fun season this is off to. What a great start, man. This has been so fun. If I can leave you guys with a couple things, this is a big week for us here at ALLCITY and here at DNVR. I really encourage you to check out Harrison's work on the Denver Sports Podcast. He's taken that over, doing a great job with it. Had an interview with Andre Miller. Yes, the Andre Miller this week on Denver Sports Podcast. Anything you want to plug with it?
No, just go check it out. We talked Jokic. We talked what it's like to coach in the G League. Talked a lot about Peyton Watson, because Andre Miller coached Peyton Watson all last season.
There you go.
Right, yeah.
So check that out and check it out every week. Make it part of your weekly podcasting routine as he takes that and makes it his own. He's also been doing a great newsletter this year. So sign up for the newsletter because 3 times a week, Harrison Wind is giving you stuff that's not on the website. He's delivering it to you right to your inbox with a great roundup of Denver sports. Anything you want to plug on that?
Yeah, just sign up for the newsletter, thednvr.com. 3 days a week right now. Soon will be 5 days a week.
Yeah. I have a big project I'm working on that will be announced later this week that I think is going to blow some people's minds. It's a really big project that I'm really excited about. I think that's all I can say for right now, but keep your ear to the ground for this week because I'm going to appreciate your support when it launches. It's going to be a really big one. And then we just have some great content up on the website. Vogt does a great job with the grades. They're grades, but they're more than that. They're Vogt's writing, talking about the Nuggets game-by-game basis.
Really excited to get back into it this season. Like a mini column on each player, big takeaways on each player. But hopefully it's digestible for you for a little quick recap. Just kind of relive what was good, what needs to be better from each game. And then whenever I'm done writing those, I go right to the website to check out Wynn's written pieces as well, because he crushes those. And man, you've had time for the list this year, so a lot of great content coming out of DNVR Nuggets right now.
I honestly feel like the Nuggets are off to a great start. We're off to a great start, and I'm excited for it. So you watch the show, and we appreciate that so much. There's other things we have going on, and I think you'll like those things just as much. So do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow night, back to back.
We all silly like the mayor.